Well, hello there, all of my bookish besties. Welcome back to my channel. I have a really exciting episode for you guys today because we are talking all about, I guess, just like my past and my history with reading, but also recommendations to get you out of your reading slump. And we're going to tell the story of just essentially how I got back into reading after not picking up a book in 8 years. Yeah, it happens. It happens to everyone. It happened to me. I am just so obsessed with seeing this page grow in the past couple months and all of the engagement and love I've been getting from you guys. And it just makes my heart so happy. I have a goal of hitting 500 subscribers by this summer, and I would love for you guys to just help me with that. So if you're loving the page, loving the channel, loving the vibes, the energy, all of the above, click that subscribe button. Let's be like officially friends. Yeah. So as I'm going through this video, please, I want to know what was the book that got, or series, what was the book or series that got you out of your longest reading slump? I'm curious. I want to talk about it. I also have a really fun announcement near the end of the video, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that one. All right, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I did not prompt you guys to get your fuzzy blanket or get your drink of choice, but at this point, y'all know the drill. Get comfy, get cozy. A little bit of context about me as a person. Harry Potter was the very first book series that I ever read, and I actually started reading it via audiobook, and my mom, her and my sister were obsessed with the series. I'm 2.5 years younger than my sister, so she was a little ahead as far as reading comprehension goes. So as the books were coming out, they were obsessing and I was a little behind the train. So they would read the series to me every night until I was eventually at the age that I could pick up the series myself. And that's truly my origin story. And isn't anyone who's older Gen Z, younger millennial, that's my age, not to expose myself, but here I am exposing myself. You all start with Harry Potter. It's just the rite of passage. But I would say that my first true book love was The Hunger Games. That was my first Roman Empire, if you will. The first series that I couldn't put down. The first series that I was really lined up at every midnight release. I would skip school to read the books. That was my ride or die. And yes, I loved Harry Potter, I loved Twilight, but it was Hunger Games is the one that changed everything for me. And to this day, it still is in my top 3 trilogies, my top 3 series of all time, hence my obsession and deep dives into Semis on the Reaping. If you guys need to watch those videos, they are unhinged, they're great. I will say that the pipeline of Team Edward in Twilight to Peeta in Hunger Games, or Team Jacob in Twilight to Team Gale in Hunger Games, I am just saying. Which I can make an entire video on the marketing of the Hunger Games movies and how they really tried to promote that love triangle in order to compete with Twilight at the time. That's a different video, something we could dive into if y'all are interested, because I have a lot to say on that topic. Anyway, so you might be asking yourself, Ash, what happened? You love to read. You were reading all these books. I remember I went through phases. I loved growing up The Magic Tree House, Percy Jackson, any Sarah Dessen book, any Nicholas Sparks books. I had my gritty little hands in them. What happened? How did I go 8 years without picking up a book? And I will tell you that right now. I do not like being told what to do. It may come to a shock to anyone who knows me or anyone who watches this channel. I am a free spirit. I'm free as a bird. I do not like being controlled or told what to do. With that being said, anytime I was in a class or school and they said, here's a book, and I had to read it, I couldn't pick it up. I couldn't do any of that because I wanted to be able to read it of my own free will. I didn't want to essentially be forced, because to me that took all of the fun and enjoyment out of reading. Now I'm a little sad because I had some really great books that I just did not pick up in my AP Lang class, and that's on me, honestly. I look back and I'm like, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Crow, that I really did that to you in that class, because she had some really great books, In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. I remember distinctly getting a third of the way in that book and was like, wow, I think this is really good, and then I was just done. I hate admitting that now because this is literally a YouTube channel dedicated to books, and I'm outright telling you guys that I did not like to read when I was in high school. Anyway, asterisk, point in case, I did not like reading books I was forced into. I liked reading my fun books that I wanted to read. That right there is the difference. So fast forward into college. once again, assigned books. There was no time for me to enjoy reading because all of my spare time was in school and classes. And then just, I guess, some backstory on my part. I moved to Disney World to do the college program, as anyone does, and I was a performer at Disney. And I would sometimes read in between my sets and everything because we would get 20 minutes on and 20 minutes off. Fun facts, Disney secrets, I don't even know. Because also in school, all of that free time was now in classes. I was working 2 essentially full-time jobs while also being a full-time student. Not a lot of fun time for enjoyment. And it was such a large gap that eventually I kind of forgot that I loved reading. And that's so disheartening. And that's so sad that I got to that point. And then COVID happens. Everyone has an origin story in COVID, all I gotta say. And through that time period, I'm not gonna go into too much of the trauma dump for you guys because you probably don't care. But essentially within a 3-day time period, I lost my dream job. I got out of a really, really bad relationship, and the world, went into a global pandemic within 3 days. So I was in a little bit of a rough place. Give it about a year, and one of my best friends at the time said, "Oh my gosh, you have to read this book." And again, I hadn't really picked up a book in a while. I was like, this is a big ask for you. And she kept shoving it down my throat and Noelle, I'm so sorry. I've apologized to her so many times. And I've, done the whole I told you so many times, because what was that book that she was trying to shove down my throat to read, but none other than A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah. It took me about a year to read this book. And in my defense, I picked it up and I was getting through the first couple chapters and I'm like, who is this Tamlin person? Why am I supposed to like him? He reminds me of my toxic ex, and I could not get through that book. I'm not going to spoil anything of that book. It's a phenomenal book. I will do deep dives into Sarah J. Maas's book series, by the way, fun facts. But it took me a while in order to read about love and romance after going through a breakup. That's just point blank period. So about after a year, I finally got the book, finally flipped through it, and I got to part 3, essentially, and I finished that day. It took me a year to get to part 3, and then I finished it in one afternoon. And I said, Miss Mann, where's the next book? I need the next book. And thus, the avalanche just kind of started. And I feel like ACOTAR is a very, very popular spot for people to pick back up on a reading slump. So here's the little teaser, I suppose, is that if you are in a reading slump or you know someone who's in a reading slump and is struggling to pick up a book, A Court of Thorns and Roses is such a great place to start, honestly. And then my A Court of Thorns and Roses went straight into Throne of Glass. And guys, I still think about Aelin, Ashriver, Galathinius every single day. There is not a day that goes by that I do not think and sometimes cry about Aelin. By far my number one favorite series of all time. I will do deep dives into this book series. I promise. If you have not read this series, read this series. If you love Game of Thrones, The Witcher, these wonderfully built, fantastical worlds with strong female characters and diverse characters and emotional men, multi-dimensional characters, especially men, because I feel like sometimes we just go cookie cutter. No, the complex, great. Oh, amazing, cannot recommend enough. And again, that's where this deep dive started. I could not stop talking about these books and these theories, and the avalanche continued. I went into Crescent City. I discovered other authors. Rebecca Yarros with Fourth Wing, another great place to start if you're struggling picking back up books, or if you know someone who's struggling picking back up books. Great way to start. If you're more into modern romance, I went through all of Abby Jimenez's catalog, including her recent book. Same with Emily Henry. I was really starting to get back into reading, and now here I am. That's, oh my God, 4 years later after this journey, which is kind of insane to think about because it feels like it was yesterday that I was experiencing all of this for the first time. And here I am, so passionate about it, and I'm really working on diversifying my own palette because I love my little romances. I love my little fantasy worlds, but there's so many other genres of books and types of books out there that I'm really trying to expand my palette to. I'm talking, horror, thriller, memoirs, self-help. I used to not read self-help books because I thought I was too good for them. LOL, I just finished an incredible one and it's changed my entire outlook on life. So, self-help books. I'm really trying to diversify my authors that I'm like reading from, so they're not all just like one culture. I want to experience the world literally from my home, but I also want to experience it out in the world. Like I want to go to Edinburgh and I want to read Harry Potter in Edinburgh. I want to go to Switzerland and I want to read A Court of Thorns and Roses in Switzerland. Like I want to go to New Zealand and I want to read Lord of the Rings in Hobbiton. Like these are some of my like life goals, and I'll get there one day. Maybe y'all will come with me. I don't know. I'm manifesting, I'm speaking it into existence because that's a life, baby. Anyway, that is a very, very short version of where I am now and some of my goals. I would love to know in the comments below, tell me what was the book or the series that got you back into reading? What's the one book that you continue to yap about? And like if someone says it, you're like, inserting myself into conversation. I have a future couple projects coming up that I'm really, really excited to dive in with you guys about. I am including my fiance in some of these projects, so I'm really, really excited to get his face on the channel more as well. I am making him read some of my favorite book series, or we're gonna get his reactions of reading them for the first time. So I'm really excited about that. Excited to experience it with you guys as well. On that note, guys, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I love telling these stories with you and letting you guys get to know me a little bit more. I am such an open book. Pun intended, actually. That was really good on my part. I am an open book. If you guys want to know anything about me, I'm here. Hi. Let me know in the comments below, again, those books that really got you started on your reading journey. Did we all start Harry Potter? Did we start Boxcar Kids, The Babysitter's Club, Magic Tree House? Like, where did y'all start? Anyways, as always, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, week, month, year, etc., and happy reading.